Welcome in to the Instant Classic Wrestling Podcast, the only podcast that is always, I mean always, he means always, she means always, they mean always, you mean always, an instant classic.
Danny Dog! Hi, Jake.
We will see you on the flippity dippity. Oh yeah.
All right, what's going on, good people? Back at it again with another review. This time, Clash at the Castle 2022 just happened, Saturday night? Was it Saturday night? I keep getting all my days confused because it was a crazy weekend. And it was a long weekend on top of that, so it was like weird. Just kind of a weird weekend. But we're going to talk Clash at the Castle. I do want to hit something, though, on some of the other shows we had over the weekend, too, real quick before we get into it. DJ here, audio-only podcast for tonight, since why not? But DJ is here. Adam is here. Casey is here. Justin is missing, as usual. But I did want to hit on, first things first, All Out. We're not gonna do like a full review of All Out, but obviously, CM Punk won the title. Well, yeah, that's the main reason behind that. But I did want to mention that, knowing that you two probably aren't going to watch it, just want to throw it out there that CM Punk did win the title back, which I was kind of confused about, because why have him win the title back when he?
I have every intention of watching it now because I just want to see what the disaster. I can't say disaster. I mean, to be fair, it's just when I heard that there was going to be 14 matches, I'm just like, why are we doing this? But again, I don't know if Justin or whoever got the show, like, just hook me up with your shows and I will report back in 18 and a half hours, because I'm pretty sure it was a long ass show.
It was long. Like I remember I put it in the group chat. I was kind of like, this show is still going on. like I'm like, this show is still going on. There's still like 2 matches left, and it's 11 o'clock, right? Like I'm all for a long wrestling show every once in a while, but I feel like what WWE has done over the past couple of years with these ridiculously long shows has just become almost like an issue. And now AEW is like, oh yeah, we have wrestling, so we're gonna do it forever too. Like, it doesn't have to be that. Like, to me, I felt like that NXT show was one of my favorite shows of the weekend, and maybe it was because it was only like 2 hours long, and I was like, this is fun, this is good, it was enjoyable. I don't know, I'm trying to think of what my favorite show of the weekend was. Clash was good, but I think NXT might have been a little better. But yeah, so back to All Out.
As I told you, Worlds Collide, there was only really one match I cared about, although I got it on in the background right now, and I just saw Hayes and Ricochet just literally collided, them both doing a springboard from side rope to side rope and meeting in the middle. That was crazy.
Yeah, that match was good, and then the main event, of course, was really good in that show. It was cool to see Tyler Bate, because like I feel like I haven't seen Tyler Bate since he was 19. Like I feel like I haven't seen him since the UK tournament. That's true. It's crazy because like it's crazy to think it feels like NXT UK had such a short run, and it kind of did. 6 years? And I know they're doing like the NXT Europe thing. Who knows what that's gonna really like turn into or whatnot. But at the same time, like it's kind of weird though, because that means we're probably not going to get like a United Kingdom tournament again. We may get like a almost like an intercontinental style tournament or something where they like pin different guys against each other, not necessarily a Cruiserweight Classic or UK Championship tournament, but in a similar fashion. They might do something like that again. I don't know.
Fire of Earth title.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, it does suck to see NXT UK come to an end, even though I haven't really watched it on a weekly basis. I've always heard it was good. When they came to NXT USA, I tended to enjoy them a lot. But yeah, I mean, and it was funny because I found myself kind of wanting Tyler Bate to win the match just because I was like, cool, Tyler Bate's back. But when it comes to All Out, CM Punk won the title back from Jon Moxley, which once again makes zero sense. And I'm just going to give kind of my overall thoughts on All Out. It's not even going to be that long. It's really going to be about the main event and my thoughts on the crowd. So in terms of the main event, the booking of CM Punk to win the title back makes sense because they're in Chicago, but why didn't you just have the unification match there? Like literally, like, why didn't you have Jon Moxley attack him? Why didn't you have literally anybody attack him? Shoot, if they were going to do this MJF angle anyway, have MJF come out and attack him. Don't reveal himself. He's the Joker in the Joker's Wild, whatever it's called, thing, Casino Battle Royal. And then first things first, you don't kill your freaking whole feud by having a unification 3-minute match on Dynamite, and also you set something up for later, which you were already going to do anyway. That really just blows my mind. That once again they decided to go with the, how can I explain this? They decided to go with the, let's give this match away for free, hype everybody up, have a 3-minute match, and then after the 3-minute match, 3-minute title match, 3-minute title unification match on top of that. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a rematch 2 weeks from now in Chicago. And I just don't understand that, especially considering you're going to Chicago. You want Punk to be the guy at that Chicago show. I mean, that storyline pretty much wrote itself. Punk was hurt. He comes back. Moxley's being disrespectful to the fans or whatever. And I feel like that's why the fans just weren't really into it. I found myself watching this show thinking, dang, this crowd is kind of dead. And maybe it was because there were 14 matches on the card. I don't know if there's actually 14 matches or if that was just a number thrown out there. But I feel like the fans were just kind of out of it. The fans were like, even during the main event, like even during the match where they probably should have been the most excited, I think the NXT crowd was more exciting than what I saw from the AEW crowd in Chicago, considering how good of a wrestling city Chicago is. So for me, that surprised me. And like we had said before, it kind of goes back to why even have the unification match built. Like, I mean, that All Out's your pay-per-view, your first pay-per-view you've done in a couple months. Build it up as, this big unification. I mean, shoot, it would have been unification weekend at this point, but build it up as your big unification match. It's CM Punk, it's Jon Moxley, it's in CM Punk's hometown, but he's got that lingering injury issue, right? Even have MJF attack the injured, surgically repaired foot to even drive it home, like, hey, this injury's still there. He's gonna be a little concerned about it. Like, I don't know what yeah, and we're gonna talk about the little promo afterwards too, that CM Punk had cut to. But any thoughts on Punk getting the title back, or did we already kind of cover this when we talked about
pretty much
unification match before?
You pretty much summed it up. My whole thing was, like, there was a lot of people that tried to equate this to the finger poke of doom. I'm like, not even close. Not even close. Like, yes, I get it. Big build to, like, this was announced on short notice, blah, blah, blah. Like, again, it was not even the same thing. Like, the was the payoff to Starrcade 98. Which was it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible, and WCW was already on the downside anyway before that. But that was pretty much another catalyst for it. But anyway, But yeah, that was especially last week with the stuff with Ace Steel. Like, again, I don't want to say, well, you saw it coming, but like Punk had to win at that point. You don't have a segment like that, and you can't have him lose in Chicago. But it still just goes to, why did we do all this gaga to begin with? And I tried to give it a chance to, quote, see what it was going to lead to. But if it was going to lead to this outcome, especially knowing that MJF was coming back, why did we have to do this? It made absolutely no sense. It didn't pop a rating. Not to mention, we had 45 minutes of a 6-man tag that nobody gave a shit about, unless you're Meltzer, that gave it 1,500 stars. But I don't know. Yeah, and I had heard the same thing, that like it was a good match. It's just like the crowd did not care. I shouldn't say didn't care. I think there was no excitement. There was no pitch or whatever, though, because of how this whole thing was set up. And plus, per whatever else happened on the show, because I can only imagine, because it's AEW, they had already seen everything. What else was left to do?
And two, shoot, Adam, they were booing CM Punk in Chicago.
Was it overwhelmingly loud, or was it just kind of I don't want to say the small niche, of the trying to be, because they were trying to make Moxley full-fledged heel, which was proper. But if that was the case, whatever, then it kind of backfired, which just goes to my whole thing before of why did we do this? Why did we do this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was about half and half, I'd say.
Which is the wrong type of heat to have.
Yeah. And like I said, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure like what's up with the heat that Punk has. Even with just the wrestling audience, like that little portion of the population that just doesn't like Punk right now, after they cheered his name for 7 years. But anyway, it just doesn't make sense. It's not like he came in.
Portion of the population is what we call stupid.
it just doesn't make, like, I'm genuinely quite confused about what's going on, and
they made the correlation again with the night of the match, which again I feel terrible that it had to happen and got kind of somewhat in my backyard in Cleveland. But I also forgot that was the same location where he quit in WWE. It was in Cleveland.
Yeah. And then I know he did like this. I mean, AEW does these. If you don't know, just in case you are watching and you're like, what the heck's AEW? AEW does these after show interview type things, like press conference type things. And it's designed to be more of like a shoot, almost kind of like what WWE does with their like online promo type stuff, interview type stuff, where you're kind of like a little bit more off script. And it kind of became a Colt Cabana AEW EVP bashing session a little bit.
He did not use the words Colt Cabana. He said Scott Colton.
Yeah.
He full-fledged name. And before we go any further, because they've been doing it after every show, which I don't mind. But here's the problem. Media scrums, like their podcasts. Like, determine all that stuff. But if you're going to hit me with these sports-based presentation, go about these the same way. Like, tell the guys, because Meltzer was in the room, Alvarez, Mike Johnson, Nick Hoffman, all that stuff. Tell them, like, go about it as presented if it was a legit shoot. Like, like, hey, going into this match, you guys had a lot of bad blood and blah blah blah. What was your thoughts going into this match? Well, he was talking a lot of smack, and it was time for me to shut him up. Just simple shit. Don't be like, my favorite spot in the match was shut up. Shut up. Like, actually present it like a sport. Don't have Jericho come out there and be like, oh, we had this great idea where we're going to play the song the whole time. And then I have this cranky old bastard that doesn't like rock music and I pull the plug. You mean that you that's in a rock band, you don't like music? What is going on?
But if they don't do it that way, then how are we going to know that they're marks?
That has always annoyed me. It has always annoyed me that we're going about it as if it's a post-show podcast. And that's why I'm glad to jump ahead a little bit. Punk was like, I'm sorry, I'm cranky, I'm tired, I'm fucking old, and blah, blah, blah.
I mean, should I just test my luck and play it? I send my messages.
Now, is this just because I don't think we've ever done this before? I think you can only do it like in 10-second increments.
I have no idea. I don't know if I just test my luck or just let it be.
I don't. Well, I would say let's say that for the next the next venture that happens, because I don't want to. This is going to be this whole media scrum was absolute gold. I was weeping with joy listening to this in the car. I'm like, did he just not only burn a bridge, did he sink it, nuke it, just burn it to the ground? All the bridges that he had with these folks.
And then it's interesting because I'm assuming this was after All Out, but it's crazy to think he just won the world title and feels this way. Like what?
This has been the pointed topic now for 2 weeks.
Yeah. And it makes you think that they put the title on him to kind of like, oh, hey, Punk, we put the title on you, buddy. You could be happy. You got this.
Please stay. Please don't leave us.
Oh goodness.
And by the way, the Oscar goes to Tony Khan for his reactions during this whole tirade from Punk, because he is like, oh dear God, you can every time Tony Khan gets behind the microphone on these media scrims, you can slowly see the goth makeup form on his face, because he is just losing his ever-loving mind.
Should we jump into class? Should we jump over to the castle? No, I tried. I really did. I thought. Okay.
That was the worst.
A couple more minutes on CM Punk destroying the EVPs and saying that Adam Page is an empty-headed dipshit.
Clash at the Castle 2022. Y'all want to go match by match on this one? Just curious. Did y'all want to talk about?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if y'all cared about all the matches or.
Let's just do all of them.
Perfectly honest with you, I thought there was like one or two that I was going to be like, this is going to be somewhat the bathroom break match. Like I was engaged the whole time, and not to mention I was even half-ass engaged to the karaoke segment at the end of the show.
Well, let's jump into it. We started out. Did anybody watch the pre-show?
I did.
Did you? Okay.
My thoughts on the pre-show were as follows.
Are you ready?
Nipples?
That's what I thought of it.
That seems about that honestly seems about where you would where you'd be there. But I did watch a little bit of the pre-show match. It was good. I liked it. I actually didn't realize it was the pre-show. I was really confused on when this show started. I thought it started and then it was the pre-show, and then I was like, oh, it didn't start. Oh, okay. But the show started out with Damage Control, which is Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky going up against Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. This match went pretty much according to plan, pretty much according to what I thought it would, how I thought it would go. It's kind of weird because when you put a champion in a 6-man tag match like this, usually it ends up being that it's like a way for the champion to lose without losing the title. And I feel like this is kind of what this was, like, possibly setting up future feuds and everything with Bianca and more so Bailey more than anything, but also kind of trying to continue to build up, Io Sky, trying to continue to build up Dakota Kai, and what kind of their new roles too. But I mean, this was good. This was a really good match. Really enjoyed it. Good way to start the show. I was definitely excited going into this one. Damage Control gets the win. Casey, what did you think of the opening match?
Was this the pre-show?
No, this was the regular show.
Oh, okay. I got confused for a second. It was all right. I mean, again, I feel like you could have done a better opener because that's a match you really want to kind of get the crowd going, and not to say that they couldn't, but I felt like it could have been they could have put a different match as the opener, but it was a good one. I wasn't too into it, but I haven't been into this storyline in general, like this feud. So
Okay, Adam, thoughts?
It was all right. It was all right. I mean, Casey, I kind of had the same thing. Like, man, I wish this was in a different spot. But based on how the match or the card was kind of set up, you couldn't have this match be the dead spot. Like, because I think there was some interest in with all the participants involved. So I was actually okay with it being the opener, but little sloppy in some spots, but you're going to have that. It's not the end of the world. Really, like the person that didn't get like any reaction at all was Alexa, which was a little shocking. But at the same time, I think there's still some people that are still trying to take her right now. According to the U.S. Alexa, stop. You're not part of this.
That was the wrong Alexa.
That was bizarre. But no, anyway, I think people are still trying to figure out how to take her because of the she pretty much got rid of the doll, Lily, whatever the hell her name is. She got rid of the spooky character, which I actually partially didn't mind, but it's nice to see her back to girlfriend. But anyway, no, right team went over. Like Bailey's back. You're still trying to Dakota and Io, whatever. So no, this was fine. This was fine.
Okay. Intercontinental Championship match: Sheamus versus Gunther. One of those matches that I was really looking forward to from as soon as they announced it for this show. I just knew this was going to be amazing. Sheamus, I think, honestly, is one of the more underrated workers WWE has. Doesn't get nearly the credit that he deserves, and I've liked him since day one. And you can't go wrong with Gunther. I was, and I don't know if either of you felt the same way, but when Imperium kind of got back together and whatnot in this one, right? And I was expecting during the entrance for them to drop the whole like go the route of Imperium is nothing without Walter, and then he go back to Walter. And they play I don't remember what the theme song is, but it's wonderful. It's the best.
I forget what the actual title is, but it's like a old school.
Yeah. See, and that's what I was expecting something. Yeah.
Just 1 second. I'm gonna track it down. ladies and gentlemen.
Well, but that was the thing. Like I was expecting, that's a hit and the crowd to just go freaking wild, and it would have been a moment.
Fine in E minor by Antonin Dvorak, something like obviously some German composer, but yeah, it's that needs to come back, like for sure. And not to mention he went to the black duster, which again the red was just not doing it for, at least for me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he's still super awesome, but yes, can we just you got us a little bit back to the old form, and thank God. I really hope that Eichner or whatever the hell they're calling him now, yeah. Giovanni Ribisi, hell, I don't know, but like just let's have a little bit of the old stuff. Come on.
Yeah. I thought, and I think we all can agree, best match of the.
That was the match of the weekend, Sarah. That was the match of the weekend, and it is not up for discussion. I don't want to hear anything from AEW. I don't want to hear from anything else. This match stole the weekend.
But yeah, like I really just love this match, and I know Casey had some thoughts too. What were your thoughts, Casey?
This was as one of my friends puts, this was a classic house fight. There was a lot of things in this, and like little things, that I really enjoyed about this match. Specifically, and part of this is because they are closer to the same size. Obviously, Walter is a little bit bigger, but when Sheamus went for the 10 beats of the Bowery, he actually fought it off. Walter or Gunther actually fought it off. I feel like anytime Sheamus goes for that, it's just nobody really like tries to fight it off or successfully fights it off. And he fought it off, I think, like 2 or 3 times until he finally got it. So I like that kind of storytelling there. But again, this Sheamus definitely does not get the credit that he deserves. Obviously, he wasn't going to go over. I don't think anyone thought he was going to go over. But this, like Adam said, this was match of the weekend.
And Sheamus kind of got his little moment in the sun after this match too.
Right.
What?
I said right. I agreed with you.
Because the crowd gave him a pretty big ovation after this.
I can't even agree with this man. He goes, "What? Huh? Jerk."
Say.
This is why I quit.
You quit your job to do the podcast, right? Shayna versus Liv Morgan for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Oh, so sad. So sad. So sad. How does Liv become
more like an? Can they make Shayna look more like an idiot?
How does Liv go from lovable underdog to beating Shayna clean? Need to know. Need to understand.
To say that you're kind of a bootleg Ronda Rousey. To I'm gonna break your arm. Are you? Are you sure? Here's a toothpick. Can you break this?
I just knew Shayna was gonna win this match, and when she didn't, I was quite disappointed. Just really was, because I mean, Shayna has gotten no good run in WWE besides NXT, which seems like where everybody tends to get their good runs if they're gonna get one. But anyway, Liv won this match. She retains, and yeah.
But I was just like, when it was starting to be competitive, I'm like, they're gonna have Liv go over. Can this girl catch a break, please? And again, it's nothing against Liv. I'm over her as champion. it was something different. They tried it, and I'm just like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah. Casey, what were your thoughts?
Thoroughly disappointed. I want my money back.
I want half off my subscription for next month.
Yes, exactly.
$250.
Moving on to Judgment Day. So Finn Balor and Damian Priest against Edge and Ray.
I'm gonna hand this one when it gets to my turn. I'm gonna hand this off to Casey because he'll explain this better for a couple of spots in this match.
I was honestly a little surprised that they didn't just throw Rhea and Dominic in this match because they were there anyway. They were involved. Why not? But since Casey has a better synopsis of this than maybe any of us, I say we go to Casey there. Go to that chase there. That their cast.
What happened was Ray died. And I know there have been many times in Rey Mysterio's career where we were like, yo, he killed him. He dead. But no, it took his own son. Listen, my name on here today, y'all can't see it, but it is search party for Ray's head. That's not a joke. We are actually looking for Ray's head. We thought it was in the 5th row. It's not there. We might have to go back to the 20th row because, listen, I don't know if Ray just told Dominic to shoot clothesline him, but he did. he did not hold back. And the sell that Ray gave, oh my God.
He grounded him last week, and he was getting him back for
it. Give that man an academy award. Also, Dominic kicked Edge so hard he kicked his shoe off. The 2 greatest spots of the night.
I am excited about Dominic's heel turn. They didn't make it clear that he was doing the Judgment Day, but as I watched Raw, he was with the Judgment Day. They made it clear that he was turning, and then he kind of just like walked away and was like, "Yeah, I did that."
I didn't understand. That's why I didn't understand why they didn't have Judgment Day go over. Because if this was going to be the aftermath, like it just like at least give more heat to the heels.
Yeah. Or have Dominic be the one that cost him.
To me, because it was a big reaction from the crowd, like, oh, why Dominic? Why? Like, so that worked. But I'm just saying, like, to benefit Judgment Day because they're okay, but like to me, the only standout. Like, let me put it this way: Finn is kind of he doesn't fit. He doesn't fit. Like I know everyone's like, well, he was the leader of the Bullet Club. Yes, back when it was somewhat of a legit thing. Like, I don't know. Like the whole Judgment thing, the Judgment Day thing with when it started off with Edge, which it didn't make sense to begin with, in my opinion, just because of it was shortly after Mania when him and Beth thwarted Miz and Maurice, and now all of a sudden he's this pissed off individual. Like, what the hell? Go ahead.
Also, Judgment Day and the Bullet Club were 2 entirely different things, like night and day different. The Bullet Club were, these outside guys, these foreigners, basically trying to take over New Japan and like run roughshod. So that worked. And plus he had, guys like Tama Tonga. I'm trying to remember who the original members of the Bullet Club were, but it was so different than the Judgment Day, where like Judgment Day, it still has this kind of, I know they didn't want to do the whole, it's it's darker and more like still WWE sort of, if that makes sense. Where like the Bullet Club was more real and more like it felt like it was a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Run the company, not New Japan, blah blah blah.
Right.
I don't know, like I would have, if this was going to be your outcome, yes, it did work. I guess I should preface it. I guess ultimately it doesn't matter, but if this was going to be your outcome, like why not give it to the heels, because they can stand, they can gloat, they can celebrate, blah blah blah. They could be out in the aisleway and they could point and laugh and be like, "Ha ha, look at them, ha ha, you lost, whatever though." And then Dominic, because they're kind of embracing like, "Yeah, we gave it a good effort," and then Dominic, does the deed, and then they could gloat about it more, because what do? They immediately zoomed into Judgment Day and they're laughing maniacally like, "Ha ha, look at this, look at this." And by the way, speaking of spots, I'm still waiting for Edge to complete that rotation for the 619.
Yes. What did one of the commentators mention that?
And Byron were like, that was more like a 519. Which I'm like, nothing about this is going to make this funnier, guys. Just whatever. Do they have area codes in Canada? I don't know.
Moving on to Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins. Boys, thoughts?
One
Get
thing,
it right. Get it right. It was SpongeBob versus Elton John.
So I really liked the interview that they had where Riddle got real serious and like intense, and I was like, yes, I want to see this side of Riddle. I want to see him pissed off. I want to see him want to kill Rollins. And then his entrance hits, and it's the same old happy. I was like, dude, he just talked about your ex-wife and your family, and you're just like, hey guys, I'm Matt Riddle. Hi. It didn't make sense.
You should have the game face on. Like if I'm Riddle, I'm going to Kevin Dunn. I'm going to everybody in the back. I'm going, do not make things fly out of my ass. This ain't the time for it. And by the way, it was fishes.
It didn't make sense.
I mean, it's just so sad though. They could have just had like NXT UK logos for Rip NXT UK, could have at least did a tribute or something.
Nah.
Oh yeah, I would have liked to have seen a little more of a serious Riddle too. I mean, I think these guys work well together, but I think when a feud turns personal, like do the obvious thing. But anyway,
with that interview too, that's all you got to do. That's like promo. Present something that everybody know to be the truth, and then you work off that. Because everybody, even though I don't want to say it's an old used line, but everyone's saying, now we will say who the real man is, and that's your wife. And then Rollins gets the boo-boo face, and then comes back with, hey, let's talk about your family. Because everybody knows, it's out there. She left him. And then actually, hearing the beeps, and that was actually, it felt real. It actually felt real for once.
I know for a darn fact Braun doesn't have that hideous ring going through his nose. Anyway, sorry. Got distracted.
He does.
By the way, Braun got a pretty big pop on Raw. Main event of the evening. Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And you know what? I was like, oh, here we go. I was like, you know what? They're going to have Drew win because there's no bloodline. It's how it's going to go. right? I was on both sides of the fence. I was like, oh man, Drew's gonna win. I'm very sad. Or I was feeling like, you know what, Roman's gonna win this one clean, and it's just gonna be like a big defining moment for his run. Like he didn't need the bloodline, you know, he's he's done the thing, and whatnot. But turns out things he didn't need the bloodline actually. So there were plenty of times where it felt like Drew was going to win this match, which was fun. Really had me feeling like no, Roman, don't lose. That's how I was feeling. Like wait to lose to like Theory or Karrion Kross or something. No, lose to Drew. Come on. That's me in my cheering voice. I don't usually say that many words.
I was going to say, are you that subdued? No, please, don't put him in the casket. I'm just thinking, don't put him in the casket. What the hell you doing?
I don't say that many words in my cheering voice. Okay.
Go Ravens, get the touchdown. Go.
Lamar. Oh, sorry. Anyway,
is this how you watch football games? Oh, don't give it to the running back. Do the play action and throw it down the field. Why would you miss that tackle? The guy's right there. You got on pads and a helmet.
The 20. Come on, not 30. Yes. Actually, that is exactly how that goes. But yeah, I was like, I don't want Drew to win this match, and then they had the little twist at the end where this man, mysterious man, in a hoodie that wasn't MJF this time, showed up and cost Drew the match. And I was like, yep, it's Solo Sikoa. I was like, you know what? I was like, at first, because he looks so much like an Oos, you know, like I was like,
that would make sense because he's kind of
shut
related
up.
to it.
Shut up.
Why? How can this man look like an Uso? He don't look like an Anawahi. What the hell?
I'm talking about when you just looking at the facial structure. I was looking at the facial structure and I was like, that's a Oos right there. That's Jay right there.
Related.
That's Jay.
You mean to tell me he actually related to the Romans and the Usos and the Kishis? What the hell going on here?
I mean, you know what? I almost thought it was Rikishi, but I was like, Rikishi looking a little small. Rikishi looking a little small. But
for the Roman.
but I was definitely I was excited that Roman found a way to win because it needed to happen. It just makes me wonder because I thought that they may have been going away from the bloodline, maybe. Like, I don't know. But I guess they're keeping it going with Solo Sikoa. So that's fun.
And by the way, that's a stupid name. And if he's gonna be in line with them, they fully acknowledge that he's related to them. So just use his legit name or whatever you want to say that actually has tie in to Roman and the Usos.
Solo Uso.
Han Solo.
Wait. That doesn't go, does it? Anyway, but yeah, Roman retained. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm good. Let Karrion Kross take it off of him, or someone that's not Drew. Even though Drew could have his moment, but not right now. Anyway, Casey, thoughts on the main event of the evening? Come on, Casey. What did you think of the match?
Why are you hating on the Drew?
I'm not hating on the Drew, though. I'm not, no.
You hating on the Drew. It was a good match. I was hyped when Solo Sikoa came out. That was cool. And it felt like they actually like built him up like he was a big deal, not like just some random jobber. So I'm excited. I'm excited to possibly watch an episode of SmackDown.
Are you going to the episode that's in Seattle?
No, not going that far.
Adam, thoughts on the main event of the evening?
This was the second best match of the weekend, and this is not up for debate. I thought this was incredible. It was hard hitting.
I would like to debate that.
Well, I said
I challenge you to a debate, sir.
Why do you want to debate? said there's going to be no debate. You never listen. You never listen, kind sir. Can this be our new? Can this be our new gimmick? This is
What is going on? Good people.
Can you just film yourself with your girl in your daily life? Be like, why didn't you say that we was going to have the Taco Bells tonight? I wanted Pizza Hut, and you had to go and get the bells of the taco.
They ain't even got the Chihuahua no more.
They got to bring back the Mexican pizza. Then we can have the best of both worlds. But anyway, no, I thought this was incredible. You know, like and by the way, that UK crowd was amazing. They were into everything. It actually felt like a kind of an old school vibe, where where they actually let people be heels and baby faces and not just Pavlovian's dog. Oh, we're just gonna cheer for everybody. No, it was great. I was like, oh my god, is actually going to do what I called. I'm like there has to be, which ended up being that. I'm like, there has to be some type of screwy finish, because you can't make Roman. You can't make Drew look weak. I don't think he's going to win, but like you were saying, as the match was going on, I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't even be mad if he won at this point, because like he looked that good. Roman made him look good. But then the spot with Theory came out, and like here's the other thing. I know logic, right? Regardless if you're a celebrity, if somebody in the crowd punches an individual, why is he not thrown out of the building? No offense, Tyson Fury, but like that's assault. Why you gotta assault the Theories like that?
I forgot about that.
Because it's a wrestling show.
But you gotta have a little bit of logic. I don't know.
This is WWE.
Does it WWE do? But I mean, I'm gonna tell you this: next time I go to a show, I'm gonna take a swing at somebody, and if I miss, I'm gonna run. No, that's what we're talking about. We're about to talk about the special karaoke at the end, to where they're in Cardiff, Wales, and they sang American Pie. Let's forget the fact. And by the way, when I lose a match, I expect someone to come out and duet with me. You know, it's a small world after all. No, that was so weird. I don't know why. They could have done that. I think I said it before we hit record. They could have done that, no problem. But wait till the cameras are off air. There was no reason for that to be live. And maybe they said, don't worry, we're gonna make sure that we're off the air by that point, and they're in the back. If the whole world's watching this now.
I have a question for DJ.
Oh Lord.
What did Roman really to relinquish the title mean? What is that? What does that mean?
I don't know. How did you catch that now as opposed to later?
Wait, what? Wait, what's going on?
Look at under WWE Clash for 2022. Did Roman really to relinquish the title?
Someone had a typo.
My grandma lived on, okay? My grandma.
One nation underdog. Oh
anyway.
Proofread.
This man don't know how to proofread.
You don't even know how to read.
To relinquish the title.
I'm literally gonna change the video to that. Thank you. Any final thoughts besides did Roman really to relinquish the title?
The clash of the champions that just happened to be in a castle.
I didn't see a castle at all.
Well, as always, you can relinquish to the titles. I mean, you can watch us.
Team
And
CM Punk all the way. The hell with the EVPs.
you can watch us or listen to us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and many other platforms. Google us because we are Googleable. And if nobody has any other thoughts before Casey does something stupid, I'm gonna say bye to y'all, and I'm gonna say,
Are you ready?